Ruto is expected to join several heads of state for the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York, USA.
As Ian Kitani now reports, the General Assembly comes at a time when President Ruto has been on the forefront in advocating for key issues affecting Africa, most recently during the inaugural Africa Climate Summit. Now, the continent will be looking upon President Ruto to once again put their European counterparts on toes in a bid to ensure the issues affecting the continent are addressed.
Several heads of state are expected to grace the 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York, with assembly set to discuss a myriad of issues, top among them health, education and matters climate.
It is not a secret that we are paying at least 5 times as much as advanced economies to borrow from the financial markets. It's a fact, documented.
With the President William Ruto leading from the front in advocating for matters affecting the African continent, most recently during the 5th Media African Union Coordination meeting in Nairobi and during the Africa Climate Summit, Ruto lamented about the unfair financial systems while calling for a total overhaul to accommodate a new system that will be fair to African countries.
We must have a collective position on matters to do with debt and liquidity. We must all agree that it is time for a new financing mechanism. The reform of the multilateral development banks is no longer about if, it is when.
Ruto is expected to use the General Assembly to advocate for a suitable system that will see African countries pay same rates as their European counterparts. With the President Emmanuel Macron recently lauding President William Ruto for his unrelenting efforts in tackling matters climate change, President Ruto is expected to use the opportunity to call for the inclusion of African countries in the decision-making of issues affecting the continent.
And it is true, we need to have a conversation about Africa's potential. Why? Because we have been profiled negatively. The continent of disease, war, poverty. But we are stepping forward to say, look here, Africa is the continent with 60% of the world's renewable energy assets.
The African continent will hope that President William Ruto will use the opportunity to call on European countries to offer more in tackling matters climate change as they remain the largest emitters. The United Nations General Assembly is expected to start on the 19th of September through to the 23rd of September. Ian Kitani, Look Up TV.
And that report by Ian